5 women, real lives, real talk. Welcome to Charcuterie Conversations, the Board Squad podcast, where the board is set, the beverages are poured, and we are showing up for you and for each other. Pull up a seat. You are right on time.
Hello, welcome to our episode of Charcuterie and Conversation, the Board Squad podcast. I am Nicola, and I am joined today by my co-hosts Anna and Summer. Very excited to talk about this topic today. But before we get into it, let's get into this beautiful board that Summer made for us.
Breakfast board. Okay, so listen, let me get into it. So we've got frittata. We've got silver dollar pancakes. There's some chicken sausage patties. I've got the I got the applewood bacon because you know Mama loves some bacon. The strawberries, the blackberries, the blueberries, the raspberries, all the antioxidants.
Yes.
And then something a little sweet, some whipped cream, to replace the syrup that you usually have.
I love that.
It's light and fresh.
Yeah, and the
yummy.
whipped cream is nice and fresh and light, so that'll be sweet. Amazing. Thank you, Summer. We're going to discuss imposter syndrome, which is, I know, it's a thing that we are all dealing with at some point in our lives. Imposter syndrome is characterized by persistent feelings of self-doubt, inadequacy, fraudulence, despite evidence of one's accomplishments. So I want to talk to you ladies a little bit about imposter syndrome, about, kind of maybe anything that you've dealt with in your lives. Tell me a little bit about your history with imposter syndrome, anything that you've dealt with in your life with imposter syndrome.
So I think for me, what I remember most about imposter syndrome and what I learned about it is that it's not lack of confidence. I've reframed it into kind of reviewing my accomplishments and realizing that I've earned the right to be at the table. And a lot of it comes from not seeing representation of another person like myself at the table. So that's kind of been my take-home message with imposter syndrome.
Much the same. I think imposter syndrome hit me pretty hard when I started to make lists as a wedding planner, and just watching who was around me and seeing the weddings they were doing. You don't get to see where they started when they hit those lists. You're not paying attention that hard, but you put all this pressure on yourself and tell yourself you're not as good. And that feeds into all of that. Oh, I'm not good enough.
And a lot of it, I think sometimes you realize that the people around you are actually less qualified than you.
Yes, but more confident.
Yes.
Way more confident.
I think for sure, for me too, I grew up as one of not very many women of color, girls of color. And so I always felt a little bit out of place. I remember like bringing people home to my neighborhood and then being like, you live here? Like, is this your house? There's like, and that always being, making me feel like I didn't deserve it. Like I was not supposed to be there. So that for me was a big deal. And so apparently, statistically, imposter syndrome is experienced more by women of color because of the lack of representation, which I'm sure you're not surprised to know.
And we're always like writing our narrative. We're like mapping out the road for the people behind us. There are too many first for us.
Still.
Isn't
it amazing that there's still so many
and
firsts?
there's not enough of us doing the work. So that kind of feeds into it. So even more reason why we should be confident.
Because we don't see each other at our jobs. We don't see other us.
We don't see other us. So we're like, oh, I guess I'm not supposed to be here because I'm the only one here. Tell me a little bit about the term imposter syndrome. Do you feel like it's been overused lately?
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, but it's like all things when they pop up and people start recognizing things, they get, it gets used and overused. Still, I think still relevant. I'm happy that more people are recognizing that it exists, giving it a name and now working on it. But yeah, it's like my word.
Yeah. The internet's talking about it and I think it's great because then we can debunk it and move forward.
Yeah. For sure. So Mel Robbins, you might know her, Mel
Yes.
Robinson, she is a podcaster and author, very famous. And she says that imposter syndrome is a good thing. It's a superpower because it means that you're in the right rooms. That if you're not feeling a little bit of a lack of confidence or you're not feeling nervous, you don't care about what's going on in that room. Have you had that experience as well where you're like, oh, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be?
I feel that way. Like when I'm in a room where I feel like I'm not the smartest one, that's always a good thing, right? Because you want to surround yourself with people who are going to bring you up and elevate all the things that you do. So I can see where that viewpoint is coming from.
Yeah, I think it's super important. When I was dancing and I was going to auditions, I remember talking to an actress and I was telling her, oh my goodness, like I'm in these rooms and I saw a celebrity. And she goes, do you know what that means? You're getting called to the auditions with those people. It means you've hit another level.
True.
And sometimes we, we go into our cave, into ourselves and we shrink. Yeah. When we should be looking at it as a positive, like, okay, I've hit another level. Now it's time for me to keep going.
Yes. Yeah. I was invited to sit on a board. And when I walked in the room, there were multimillionaires there. And immediately I thought, what am I doing in this room?
Go, Anna.
And even the way I was selected, my friends kind of told me, well, you're bringing this skill set to the conversation. And this is where you're going to shine. And sure enough, when the time came, that's when I had my, when they say like your few minutes of fame, that's when I stood out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
awesome. Yeah.
I think it's really hard. I still struggle with it from time to time where I'm like in a room like this room with two beautiful, accomplished ladies.
Really?
Absolutely. And
not the guru.
I mean, no, and I really do like think to myself, like, okay, well, are you supposed to be here? Like, can you handle it? Can you, can you stay in the same level as your counterparts that you're sitting in the room with? So I have to come up with ways of like self-talk to be able to just talk myself into the situation and make sure that I'm not, letting the opportunity pass me by being nervous or upset. One of the things that I do is like, I'll tell myself like, you got this, Nicola, like you can do this. I'm wearing a necklace today that says badass on it.
That's right.
I love it.
So things like that, little ways that I try to help myself remember who I am and whose I am and how I can navigate a room. What do you guys do?
I love that, Nicola, because I'm wearing these bracelets and they belong to my maternal grandmother.
Wow.
So these bracelets are over 100 years old.
Wow.
And every time I'm asked to speak or I'm asked to give a lecture or presentation, I always I always wear these bracelets, one for good luck, but it also reminds me who I am and how far I've come. And that's something we don't do enough of.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my tip. Like whenever you're feeling insecure, you're taking on a big assignment, you're worried about imposter syndrome creeping in, bring something physical that you can touch, something that's meaningful for you, wear it. And if you get nervous, just kind of hold on to it and remember where you come from and how you started.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I think it's a lesson of learning because I'm pretty negative sometimes. So it's a lesson of working on that and constantly being kind to myself. I think I've always been, since junior high school, I had a best friend and she would tell me to write notes to myself about who I am, who I'm not yet, but who I want to be, and read them daily. So I think daily affirmations, reminding yourself who you are, who you want to be, and reading them, it eventually you start to believe it because, as you're growing, as you're, more opportunity, doors are opening, instead of shrieking, you're walking through them. And when you don't walk through a door because, you've let imposter syndrome take over, you still can get up and keep going and have the next opportunity.
I love that, the writing it down. I need to do more of that too.
Yeah. Write it down and
accomplishments, remind yourself. In your phone so you can pull it up. I think that's such a great idea.
Set alerts. Set an alert. Yeah.
Set alerts.
Yeah.
Do you ladies, just in closing, have anything you would want to say to like younger women? Because I always I coach a lot, younger women, train, things that you say to younger women to help them, especially younger women of color, overcome imposter syndrome?
Yeah. I mentor young students as well, and I love it. And I have a few things that I do tell them. One, also to keep a list of your accomplishments. So just keep a folder, a gratitude journal, whatever it is, just so you have something tangible. I'm big on the tangible.
Yes.
And then the second thing, when you see smoke, don't wait for the fire. So get help early. I think that's really important because we think we're the only ones struggling, and that is not the case. Look for a mentor or a sponsor. Those are two different people. A mentor is somebody who's going to guide you, support you. A sponsor is someone who's going to help you navigate your career path, kind of clear obstacles, give you strategy information, strategy advice. So that's kind of where those are like the tips that I give my mentees.
I love that.
I think it's important to not be afraid to be around people who are doing better than you.
Yes.
Yes.
I think it's important to surround yourself with people who are constantly going to pull you up.
Yes.
Whether it's just through you watching them do better than you. I think that is super important. Your environment, your circle, the people that you're around. Again, writing yourself notes, telling yourself that you can do it, making plans, following through with them, and whether you're successful with those plans, keep going, write new plans. And when you find yourself thinking, oh my goodness, I can't do this and it looks like everybody else is doing it, just know it's not true. A lot of those people who are
Right.
out there doing it don't know what they're doing either.
That's
Right.
so true.
Yeah, you have
No.
to fail. Failure is first
It's
attempt
so
in
important.
learning.
And not be afraid to
Yeah.
fail. I think
No,
that's also
it's
so
important,
important.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, ladies, so much for joining us for this
Yes,
conversation. I
thank
think it was so
you.
helpful. It was helpful to me. I thought you guys shared
Oh,
some
yeah.
great tips.
Yeah.
And so I hope you will like, follow, and subscribe for the Board Squad on all of your podcast platforms. And we also want to let you know that our board is available for purchase on our website. So you can certainly take a look there if you'd like to pick one up and make your own board. Thank you so much for joining us.